ready for lesson 5 on the knee joint. Misha wants to help with this one. I want you to start by sitting down on the ground and pulling your pant leg up above your knee. Let's take a look at the different parts of the knee joint. Let's start right in the center. You feel that little triangular bone that you can move around when your leg is straight? That's your kneecap, also called the patella. Now, it can move around when your leg is straight, and when you're in hyperextension, it also moves too freely. Notice if you just start to bend your leg, you put a pull, because that kneecap is actually in the tendon of the quadricep, right? So it's encased in this tendon, and now you can't move it around as well. That's because it's in a little valley of the femoral condyles. That's your thigh bone. So, right in front, thank you, that's the kneecap. The bone above is the femur. The bone below is the tibia. And you learned from a previous lesson, the tibia is the shin bone, and the fibula is outside of the tibia, and that's the shorter bone that's on the outside that you can feel the bony rounding just below the knee. All right, so the knee joint is comprised of your femur, thigh bone, patella, which is your kneecap, and your shin bone, which is the tibia. It's a hinge joint. What does that mean? A hinge joint is like a door. It can open and close, or in this case, it bends and straightens. That's called, as you know now, flexion and extension. So hinge flexes and extends. But there's an interesting thing about the knee joint, and that is when it's flexed, the lower leg can actually rotate some, all right? And we don't want that. We want the alignment of the lower leg to match the upper leg. We want the tibia and the femur and the foot all directed in the same way. So we need to be really careful when we get into first position because it has this extra flexibility, meaning when you're getting ready to get into first position, you don't want to demi-plie, turn the legs out, because I can rotate further with my feet when my knees are bent and then straighten, which I'm not going to do because I would be twisting or screwing the knee. So let's look at the different and label the different motions of the joints. So as I do a demi-plie, I've got hip flexion, knee flexion, and ankle dorsiflexion, which is a special type of flexion just for the ankle joint. As I come up from demi-plie, I'm extending my knees, extending my hips. When we're in first position, the same thing is true. We're still flexing the hip, flexing the knee, and dorsiflexing the ankle. We want to make sure that these joints and bones are all moving in the same plane, because that's where good alignment lies, and you won't be putting any strain on the knee joint. The knee joint is a vulnerable joint. It's at the mercy of whatever happens above and below it. So when we work our legs, we need to make sure that all the joints and the bones are working in good alignment. Okay, that's it for the knees. Take care of your knees. You only have one set of them. And let's go on to the next lesson.